My second job was a midnight clerk at a roadside motel, 2 hours outside the city. U-shaped building, 13 doors, flickering vacancy sign that looked like a heartbeat. Truckers took the back row, families got the rooms near the ice machine. We never booked room 12 after midnight. An old local rule the owner didn't write down. She'd just say, "It confuses people," and change the subject. At 12:07 a.m. on a Tuesday, the register popped a reservation by itself. Walk-in, room 12, cash. The bell over the lobby door didn't ring. The camera showed an empty driveway, rain points like silver nails. I canceled the entry. The cursor reappeared on its own and typed "paid" in the notes field. I stared until the cursor blinked like a wink and vanished. I walked to the keys, as we do every hour, shine the light along the doors, and listen. Room 12's peephole had fog around the glass on the inside. That doesn't happen unless someone's breathing on it. I knocked once, called out "front desk." The sound inside the room changed. Not a voice, not a step, pressure. I slid my master into the lock and felt heat, like a palm on the other side of the door. I pulled back. The vacancy sign buzzed and snapped dark for 1 second, then came back too bright. At 12:14 a.m., a man in a ball cap came in soaked, carting water onto the mat. He asked for room 8 specifically. I took his ID. He looked used to being awake. He asked, "You still don't book 12 after midnight?" I said I wasn't supposed to. He said "good" and signed without reading. People tell the truth when they're tired. He added, "Last time I stayed here, someone knocked from inside the walls." At 2:03 a.m., the phone at the front desk rang from room 12. We don't send calls to rooms that aren't checked in. The board showed the line live for 13 seconds. I lifted the receiver to silence that had texture, like wind trapped in drywall. When I hung up, the parking lot camera showed a figure standing at the far edge by the soaked shrubs. A tall man, shoulders sloped, hat brim low. The timestamp stuttered for 2 frames and jumped backward, as if the camera didn't want to own the moment. The rain stopped, as if a switch had flipped. Motel weather is weird. The interstate makes its own climate. I took the master and a fresh towel like an excuse and walked back around. Room 12's curtain moved against the glass, a slow push and release. Breathing. I knocked with the towel between my knuckles. "Front desk, you called?" The curtain stilled. The chain rattled on the other side, but only once, like a person choosing not to open after deciding to. I slid the towel under the door out of habit. The towel pulled back inside with a careful strength I will never forget. The door stayed closed. Back in the lobby, the register spit a receipt. Room 12, cash, $49, balance 000, signature blank. The thermal paper felt warm. I opened the cash drawer. The exact amount lay on top of the 5s, damp like river money. I called the owner. She answered on the first ring like she'd been waiting. She said, "Don't refund it. If it pays, let it stay." At 3:13, a state trooper pulled in lights off. He came in for coffee and to run plates, like they do when the highway gives them nothing but time. I told him, softly, the odd stuff. The self-check-in, the towel, the money. His eyes did a thing men do when they want to protect you without admitting anything is wrong. He said, "We've had calls. Room 12's on the report twice, welfare checks with no guest. You want me to walk it?" I said yes before my pride could answer. We went together. His hand touched the butt of his flashlight the way people touch talismans. The hallway outside room 12 smelled like a wet basement in summer, sweet and copper, not like any other motel smell I've cataloged. He knocked. "State police." The peephole darkened, then cleared, as if someone put their eye to it and leaned away. He slid the master in and pushed. The chain held from the inside. He pushed more and the screws creaked, old wood complaining. He called again, "Police!" The chain moved on its own toward the bracket like a hand feeding it through. The door opened 2 inches, dark. The trooper's flashlight beam bent to the threshold and thinned like mist eats light. He shut it gently. "I'm going to pretend they'd told us to come back later," he said. He wrote something down I couldn't see and told me to call if anyone screamed. He drove away with wipers working a windshield that didn't need them. At 4 o'clock, truckers began to roll in for coffee and a bathroom. The lobby felt normal with other lungs sharing it. I printed the night audit at 5:30. The ledger showed room 12 stayed one night, checkout 6 a.m. I went back at 6. The towel lay folded on the sill inside the window, visible through the gap in the curtain. The door was unlocked. I opened it into a room colder than outside. The bed was made military tight. The mirror over the dresser had a handprint high on the glass, 5 fingers too long, dry. The register slip sat on the desk, signed in a loop that meant nothing, like a road on a map that goes nowhere. We don't book room 12 after midnight anymore. If the book's itself, we leave it. The owner says a man died there in 1998 trying to make it to a wedding 2 exits down. She never wrote it down and the papers don't mention it, but truckers remember things roads forget. Now, when guests ask for 8 or 9 or 10, I oblige. When they ask for 12, I say we're full, and mean it. If a receipt prints without hand to sign it and cash arrives that smells like somewhere else, I keep my eyes on the lobby bell and wait for morning. If you ever work nights at a motel, learn the rooms like neighbors. Some of them stay long after they check out. If a guest pays cash you didn't take, don't go looking for a thank you. And if a towel slides under a door and doesn't come back with dust, understand, whoever is inside knows you now. Be polite. Let them sleep.